and I'm feeling good.
Fred writes, a Christian told me there was more evidence for the existence of life after death than evidence against it. And he gave me a web address to back that up. Here it is.
Actually, they're dead even. There's exactly zero evidence for life after death and zero evidence for non-life after death. It's an
I
issue
would tend
that
to not agree.
It's an issue that
I think if you know what life is, then it's almost by definition there's not life after death.
There's a default, but when we're talking about does anything of the person continue after death, if you defined an afterlife in that terms, then there's no evidence either way. But without evidence to support the idea that something of the person does continue, the default position that nothing continues is reasonable.
Yeah, and I don't really agree with the way you put that. It seems to me that the first thing you do is you figure out what the hell is life. And when there isn't any more of that, it's over. And the thing is, there is nothing about life which there is nothing about what we actually know about life that continues after you're dead.
That we know
like
of.
Nothing.
That
well,
we know
okay,
of.
fine, but
agree.
that is not the same as saying there's equal evidence. We know all kinds of stuff about life. All the stuff we know about life is it ends at death. That's not equal evidence with
I think when you frame it
completely
that way,
bullshit claim that there is life after death, that there's something we don't know about which continues.
I think when you frame it that way, you're avoiding the issue. Because when they talk about life after death, they're talking about something that's by default supernatural that has nothing to do with life.
They're not talking metabolism.
You're dead.
Well, then we have all kinds of evidence that biological processes account for life, and that there is no need for any of that supernatural stuff to play a part in life in the first place. And again, all the things we know that are necessary for life end when you die.
We don't
all
have
of the things that we actually know.
We don't have a physical model for self-awareness, for consciousness.
Consciousness is a sticky little problem
that
allows
have a
them
physical model for
that allows them to posit supernatural explanations.
But there are no indications that the consciousness question is going to be answered by something supernatural.
I'm in complete agreement with you, except for the fact that what they're talking about is a supernatural occurrence. Life ends, you're dead. Everybody's going to buy that. But whether or not something of that person persists after they're dead is an unanswered question with no actual evidence for or against. The only thing we can say is that there's no reason to presume that anything does, because there's no evidence to support anything supernatural or anything.
All I'm saying is, I agree with that. All I'm saying is that there is reason to presume the opposite. There is actually reason. We know stuff, and the stuff we know indicates that it ends at death.
The best conclusion we can draw based on all the available evidence.
All I am disagreeing with was your statement that there's equal evidence for both sides. I don't agree.
Well, I'm talking about a specific situation after death. Beyond death, we know nothing.
About what?
True.
About possibilities, because that's really what they're talking about is possibilities. The possibility of something of the person extending beyond that. But anyway.
Since we can't possibly know what's happened to us after death, no one knows what there is after death.
I'm just trying to.
I don't buy it.
I'm trying to. Okay.
Because I don't think that by simply. Sorry, Matt. Sure. I don't think that by simply introducing a supernatural thingy into the discussion that they can honestly and fairly take the whole discussion into a realm where suddenly neither side has any better evidence. I think that's just bullshit.
We're in agreement that the position is that right now, based on all of the available evidence, life ends at death.
So you're agreeing with me that it is not correct to say that the evidence on both sides is the same. It's not.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know where we're disconnecting here.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is the same thing I try and do in a lot of cases when I'm talking with Christians. Is I argue the case from within their own framework, because they're positing that there's something of the person that exists beyond death, that there is some supernatural soul consciousness entity within us that exists beyond. They can provide no evidence for this, and we can provide no evidence that that is not true. Okay? It's not that, I mean, we could still be right that you live all the way up till death and you're dead, but that doesn't mean we've disproven the idea
that's
some kind of supernatural soul.
That's exactly where we disconnect. Because I don't go inside their paradigm to argue it. Because as far as I'm concerned, if they want me inside their paradigm, they have to get me there by proving that their paradigm has some basis in reality. If they can't do that, they're full of shit, and I have nothing else to say to them.
I understand, and I mostly agree with it. The point is that you can disprove the bullshit they're slinging and stay within their framework at the same time. Because this guy is coming forward talking about how he's heard that there's more evidence for life after death, this supernatural idea that something persists beyond death, than there is for evidence opposed to it. And my thing is that even staying in that framework, that is bullshit. There's not that evidence.
Okay, but I don't even want. I'm not even. I don't even think it is that it is. That intellectual honesty necessitates us going inside their paradigm in the first place.
I just think it's a better way to reach people.
Yeah.
If you start off by saying you can't prove that there's any such thing as a soul, and therefore life does definitely end
I don't
at death,
start off by saying you can't prove there's no such thing as a soul. I start off by asking, can you prove that there's such a thing as a soul? And when the answer is no, the rest of the discussion is moot.
Okay. But you don't end up convincing anybody that way.
Oh, well, that's not what I'm here for right now. And I'm not sure that, I mean, I am pretty much in the Dawkins camp when it comes to strategy. I actually care.
See, I would say I was.
I care more about being honest about the facts than I care about making converts.
I'm perfectly comfortable with arguing from that standpoint.
Thank you, though.
But you can stay with.
Are we entertaining the other people in the room, me and Matt?
Yeah.
Like batting this back and forth.
And once again, we're like 99.999% in agreement, because I'm perfectly fine arguing from the position that you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
But when I was responding to this guy who's basically making a claim about where there's more evidence.
Yeah. To be clear,
within
the guy who wrote, Fred, does not actually believe this.
I understand.
He's telling us what
I
he
read
was
the
told.
email.
Okay.
But the evidence that he's referring to is from people who do.
Yes.
And even among people who do, my point is, no, you don't have that evidence. You think you have that evidence, but you don't.
I don't like to go there inside their paradigm, even when I'm talking to believers, for the reason that I think that derails the discussion, takes us out of the realm of talking about stuff that is actually known to be true and valid, and we're then in the realm of arguing whether Doctor Who is better than Star Trek, as far as I'm concerned, right? We're arguing matters of taste. We're going over with a fine-tooth comb documents that are fiction, and I just don't see the point.
Reductio ad absurdum.
The point from my point of view,
their beliefs don't work,
is to show that their entire worldview is contradictory and unsupported.
I don't have a problem with occasionally saying, "Look, dude, even if it was true, even if your basic assumptions are true, your conclusion doesn't follow. I'm willing to throw that out, but I think the main discussion needs to be about stuff that we actually know.
Sure, but the problem is that you get to that position where, okay, all of a sudden, yours and my viewpoint is based on reason and evidence and what actually is, and somebody else's viewpoint is based on what they believe and what they're going to accept on faith, and you can't find any common ground to make any changes. It's basically a situation where yes it is, no it isn't, yes it is, no it isn't. Yes,
but what? Okay, let's suppose you can find common ground to make changes within the paradigm of their belief system. What do you accomplish then? You take maybe a fundamentalist and you make him more liberal.
Maybe, or you take somebody who's a fundamentalist and turn him into an atheist.
How?
You want me to give you the story of my life again?
No, that's all right. I think we'll move on.
Yeah,
we'll agree to disagree on that small point. Fred, I think Fred would very much like me to go on to the next line of his letter where I give the actual URL of the site he was given. It's www.leaderu. It's or leaderu, leaderu.com/truth/onetruth28.html. This is a gem of a document, says Fred. I haven't laughed so much for a long time.
And I'm feeling good.